But anyway, this is just an orientation class, just to know what is in anthropology, how the question paper will be, and some basic things, just to get ourselves familiarized with the subject. Yes. So most probably you have seen the syllabus which was handed over to you, and I know that you are very obedient students, so you would have read it. Have you read it? No. Have you seen question papers before? No. How many marks is your optional for? You can answer. 250 marks. So total? Yes or no? And it plays a very important role in deciding your rank. Some people in this year from our Vijeta, they scored exceptionally well, and that is why they are able to make to the list. Not only anthropology optional, but also GS and other aspects of GS has to be studied properly to get a best rank. Yes or no? So your focus should be not only on anthropology but also GS. You should have a balanced approach. Don't get obsessed with anthropology and don't spend all of your time reading anthropology alone, because this is not the only subject in your CSE, civil services exam, isn't it? So don't get obsessed with it and don't spend all your time reading optional, isn't it? For GS there are 1000 marks, isn't it? Plus 250 marks essay. So 1250 more marks you have to focus. Apart from this, 500. So what I suggest you is attend the classes regularly, and if you are in a case where you are not able to attend, access it online or access the recorded class. But make sure that you complete the classes within time without any procrastination. This is very important. 100% attendance you have within this 4 months or 4.5 months, definitely I promise you that you will be very competent. If your attendance is not so good, then you are at your own risk. Yes, and after attending the classes, which obviously is from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., I would suggest you to read for 2 hours after the class. If you are very tired throughout the day, you can do it in the morning. But it is very important that you revise the things what has been taught in the class. And it is also expected that you do daily answer writing, the question which is given in the class, without any fail. And then obviously I would also advise you to write a weekend test, which is on Sunday, isn't it? Apart from doing these things with anthropology, I think similar pattern would be there for your GS also. Yes or no? So 4 hours of time for anthropology, 2 hours in the class, 2 hours for revision and daily answer writing. So in this 4 months to 4.5 months, you are giving me what? Attendance. Yes, obviously attendance, and also 4 hours of time. And also you have to remember that in this 4 hours, you hardly get any chance to go through the reference books, because you have to think like a human being. And human beings have certain limitations, isn't it? What are the limitations that human beings have? Brain. Huh? Yeah, our brain also has lot of limitations, because we only use hardly 5% of our brain. 95% is asking us to take rest. No? That is what is known as law of least effort. Brain tries to conserve energy to such an extent that brain can make you lazy, brain can make you active also. So generally all human beings are attracted towards this law of least effort. That means to put in least efforts and to get a maximize or maximum output. And that actually doesn't happen with a successful person. Successful persons put maximum effort and expect least results, and eventually they become successful. So you have to always focus on putting the maximum efforts. So for you, till you are in UPSC preparation and till you get the rank you deserve, you have to write law of maximum effort. You put in quotations and write it, law of maximum effort. That is, maximize your efforts, because as a human being, brain always tries to conserve energy. It doesn't want to work actually. Law of minimum efforts, that has to be changed with the law of maximum efforts. That means you have to maximize your efforts. You get my point? Tell me honestly, how many of you feel active all throughout the day? At least the time you are awake. Very honestly, because I want to take a random sampling. Yeah. So again, if we define health according to WHO, it is physical, mental, and social well-being. That means your activeness should reflect physically, mentally, and socially. So now tell me, how many of you are active all throughout the day? Now don't ask, sir, what about you? Isn't it? So always try to maximize your effort. And as I said, 4 hours of time you are giving to me for anthropology, and the remaining time you are focusing on GS. And in this 4 hours and throughout the duration of your classes, you hardly get any time to read the reference book, which obviously we will be providing you. Yes, trying to read reference book will put more pressure on your brain, and it will affect your GS preparation, because I think most of you are attending your GS classes as well. But those of you who are not attending GS classes can spend an hour more reading reference books. And you are not reading cover to cover certain selected topics. What areas have to be read, I will personally mark them in. So you can approach me to read, to know what to read and what not to read. Yes. So anthropology optional we have for 500 marks, and you are spending 4 hours per day in the next coming 4 months to 4.5 months. And obviously you know there are 2 papers, isn't it? What are they? Paper 1 and paper 2. You can take down. So how many marks? Split 250 marks. Here also 250 marks. What is the duration? Sorry, you said something. I heard it. 2. That was for prelims. 2 hours for GS, 2 hours for CSAT. Here it is 3 hours. You understand why I am telling them? Because most of the people doesn't know it even well into our classes. So that is why I am telling you. It's not to belittle you or not to pass time. Yes. So 250 marks here, 250 marks here, and the duration is 3 hours. So conducted on the same day, isn't it? Morning 9 to 12 and 2 to 5. 2 hours of break to enjoy, isn't it? So you have to write 6 hours at a stretch. how many of you are attending 4 hours of class per day? Along with anthropology, now it will become 6 hours. So now you should not hate teachers for dictating notes or something, because you are already preparing yourself to write 6 hours in a day. Yes or no? Similarly, you are writing other papers of GS also. 4 plus 1, 5, 5 3 is 15, plus English and other native language. So how many hours of writing with only few days in between? Isn't it? 9 into 3, 27. What I mean to say is, mains require extensive writing practice, where writing should be legible. It should be in a presentable situation, and it should appear clean and neat also. So how do you develop it if you do not have this competency yet? How do you develop? Through practicing only, through writing only. And that writing skill you will develop by writing in the class, by doing daily answer writing and weekend tests. Yes or no? So you have to rigorously practice to develop speed, to develop legible writing which is presentable, clean and neat. You get me? Because you have a limitation on it. Yes or no? So now in this paper 1, you have section A and section B. In paper 2 as well, you have section A and section B. In each of the section, you have 4 questions. You know that? Some people know and some people doesn't know. So here have question 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then here 5, 6, 7 and 8. Similarly here 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Each question carries 50 marks, in which there are subsections or subcomponents. Say for example, you take question number 1. You have A, B, C, D and E. 5 into 10 marks. 5 into 10. Similarly here, 5th one, 5. A, B, C, 5 into 10. 50 marks. Similarly here, so each one is 10 marks. 5 into 10, 50 marks. Same here, A, B, C, D, E. 5 into 10, 50 marks. And all these are compulsory. You are expected to answer them. 1, 2 from paper 1, 1, 2 from paper 2. These are compulsory. What are these? These are all compulsory. If you don't know, you're forced to leave. Then special effects. So 1, 5, 1, 5 are compulsory. If you don't know, you are forced to leave it, and by doing so, it will reduce your overall score. So from 2, 3, 4, you have to answer 1. From 6, 7, 8, you have to answer 1. Compulsory, this one. Here you have a choice: 2, 3, 4, 1, 6, 7, 8, 1. So now 4 into 50, 200 marks. One more 50 marks you have to answer no. That you can answer either from section A or section B. Say for example, you are with me? You are with me? Yeah, you are able to. Yeah. Say for example, I selected 2 from here and 6 from here, because I am expected to select 1 from each. So fifth one, I can select any of the 4. I can select this one, or I can select this, or I can select this, or I can select this. Say for example, I selected this. So 5 into 50, 50 marks. You get my point? And here second, third, 4, 6, 7, 8 have 3 sections: A, B and C. A, B and C, A, B and C, A, B and C, A, B and C. A is for 20 marks generally, B is 15, C is 15. So 30 plus 20, 50. Similarly here. Third also you have ABC, 4 also ABC. A is always 20, B and C are 15 marks each. Same here, ABC, ABC, ABC. A's are usually 20 marks, B and C are usually 15 marks. So you have 3 types of questions: 10 marker, 15 marker and 20 marker. As of now, they can change any time. It is not a hard and fast rule that question paper always should appear like this. They may make it 4 into 15, or maybe 30 and 20. We don't know. Or maybe 2 25s. But as of now, in the last so many a decade or so, pattern is like this. You get my point? So what are the different types of questions you have? 10 marker, 15 marker and 20 marker. Yes or no? So what about this? Tell me what you have understood. Same, A and 1 and 5 are compulsory. Then what you will do? You will select 1 from this, 2, 3, 4 and 1 from this, 6, 7, 8. What do you want to select? Okay, maybe 3. Maybe here 7. Fifth one you can write from the remaining 4. Maybe I selected 2. So this is how the mains question paper appears. Any questions in this one you can ask. Otherwise, I have to assume that you have understood. Yes? Can I erase this one? See, question paper is given along with the answer booklet. Answer booklet has question and space accompanied with it. So there is a limitation with respect to space, and obviously there is a limitation with respect to words, and there is a limitation with respect to time. You getting my point? So what are the three limitations here? Space, words, time. You cannot write whatever you want because space is limited, and by writing more they are giving penalty marks. They are deducting some marks from me. Very cruel, no? Yeah, and this is a fact. So you have to adhere to all these things. Yes? Now, what are the three types of questions that you have seen? 10 marker, 15 marker, and 20 marker. Two pages are given, 3 pages are given, and 4 pages are given. Yeah. Can I borrow your notes once? So UPSC paper is more or less like this, but another line down here. So you are given a confined space, and you cannot write outside the margin. There are chances that they need not evaluate your paper also, or can invite penalty marks, because it is clearly mentioned. Please do not write outside the margin, not on this one, but in UPSC booklet. You get my point? So the effective page that you have is quite less. So if I have to draw, this is the space in which you have to write, and you cannot write outside the margin. So this is counted as one page, and the other side you have the second page. So for 10 mark, 2 pages. So while you are practicing, practice in such kind of pages. So the printouts that are given here, the answer booklets will be of similar pattern, but in UPSC the page size is even more less. We are providing little bit bigger size A4 sheet. That is also slightly less than A4 sheet, but broader. So practice in this one, so you get to know in each page how many words you are writing, because everyone has their own unique handwriting. Some people write very less, some people write in the size of an ant size. So by practicing on UPSC paper, you get to know how many words you are writing in each page. So do practice on this kind of sheets. Yes. So 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages. Words. See, just about 150 words. So scale it up, plus 5, 225 words. Here, not more than 300 words. Maximum word. So this plus or minus 20 you can take. That is the tolerance limit. Recently with the main students, I got to know from them that they are told, or they were guided in such a way that write 125 words. It's a dangerous thing. It's almost suicidal according to me. For 150 words. Don't write too less, don't write too more. And I also got to know from anthropology students, writing 350 words. They are guided up. It's very wrong, and that will enable you to invite penalty marks and even if they do not allow you penalty marks, you cannot answer all the questions because you lose time. So this is the thing. 150, 225, 300. I just scaled it up. Plus or minus 20. And the time limit. See, 10 marks should be written in 7 minutes. 15 marks should be written in 10.5 minutes. And this in 14 minutes. These are the three determinants. What are they? Pages, space, word limit, time limit. Ultimately, after learning well, revising well, or maybe putting in all your hard work, ultimately you have to abide by it. Whoever able to abide by this one and complete the question paper will definitely get good marks along with the content. Yes or no? So ultimately you have to make sure that you stick to this. How do you do this? Through practice only. Many a times the students say that, sir, I am taking 30 minutes to write a 10 marker. Then what should a teacher say? No, please write fast. Yes or no? Any other alternative is there? If the person is writing too much for a 10 marker, what a teacher will say? No, please stick to the basics, stick to the requirement. Yes or no? So you have to make sure that maybe in the first 10 days where you will settle down, but after 2 weeks or so, you have to make sure that you adhere to this. You don't have that internal zeal to adhere to this, it will take very long time. Very long time. Even after completing the course, you will find it difficult. So better start as early as possible. You want to do it from day one, it is good. So in 7 minutes, whatever you are writing, stop there. Do keep a track on that time. Okay, after 14 minutes, a 20 marker, stop there. You get to know, okay, I am able to write this much. By self introspection, reflecting on how you are performing, you will be able to do miracles later. Otherwise, this remains to be a challenge. I am not telling only with respect to anthropology. In GS also, situation remains the same. So while you are practicing for GS or essay also, you have to make sure that you adhere to that one. And that is what is practice. You should not falter on practice. You getting my point? So I have 500 marks, 2 papers, each paper 250 marks, 3 hours duration, and ultimately you have 3 types of questions, 10, 15, 20. Not a hard and fast rule, it may change, we don't know, but as of now this is the thing, and these are the specifications or requirements as per UPSC. You getting my point? Any questions in this, you can answer. Yes. Make it an interactive one. Online students also can ask. Yes. Any questions you have? You're most welcome to. Prasanna? Count these words. That is good. Can I borrow your... So as I told you to practice on this one, if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 she is writing. And after few pages, you can see that more or less she will write 7 to 9. More or less. On an average 8. So lines 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. So if you count number of lines and number of words, you approximately get to know how much you are writing, and that is how you get to know. And if you do it in the beginning, you automatically get to know, okay, in this page I have written this many words. It more or less remains constant. It's a foolproof method because you don't change your handwriting, isn't it? And it is also very difficult to change your handwriting now. And if your handwriting is pathetic, it is very important that you rectify your handwriting. My only logic is, if evaluator does not understand what he or she has written, how the evaluator will award marks. Some very rarely some people will have whose handwriting is very difficult to understand. But anyway, as you write your daily answers, I can see them and I can tell you if there is a need to rectify your handwriting. Now, did you get to know how many words you will write per page? And that more or less remains constant unless until you intentionally want to write big. Isn't it? Yes. Any more questions you have? We can ask. Exam. Then how to manage the word? No one will see. If evaluator will have more or less an idea of, just like what I said, an evaluator can easily say whether the person has or whether the student has written more words or less words. Definitely they will. Otherwise, why do you think that they are allotting penalty marks? If they don't have that assessment that a person is writing in less words or more words, then why they are awarding penalty marks? Isn't it? So everyone will know. If I know, you also know now. Isn't it? UPSC evaluators would have been doing the job for a very long time. Just with an impression, they'll get to. Yes or no? So they definitely know Akshay. Yes.
So suppose the name of any organization or anything is 2-3 words, like suppose Indian National Congress. So it
3 words. 3 words, yes. World Health Organization, 3 words. Punctuations, those things are not counted, like comma or full stop, but is, was, a, and all these are counted as words. But you develop it over a period of time. But yes.
Sir, suppose I have to write this term again and again in an answer.
So what do you do? Say for example, you said Indian National Congress, and I am no more or no way associated with any political party. You said it, and I am writing. Okay. So Indian National Congress. So you write INC here. In the first time when you are writing it. Next time you can automatically quote INC. Maybe World Health Organization. You write WHO here, and later on you can use WHO. But I would not advise so. I would not advise so, because it is even more a formal and polite way of writing. You getting my point?
That is also called counted as a single word.
Which one?
Personality.
Like Mahatma Gandhi. 2 words. What's your name? Prairie. And then complete name? How many words? So 2 words. Yes. The words in the diagram are also counted as words. But diagram, the very essence of diagram or flow chart is to avoid massive write-up, isn't it? So that you wanted to present in a different way, and flow charts and diagrams give way to your creativity, isn't it? It's all up to your creativity. It depends on how well you can present it, isn't it? So the words even in those flow chart diagrams, they are counted as words. Yes. Any more questions? Yeah. You are able to understand what I am speaking? Yes. Because we come from different societies, different cultures. we have our own way of pronunciation. So I frequently check whether what I am speaking, if people are able to understand it out. Isn't it? What I am speaking, if you are not able to understand it, then it is of no use. Isn't it? So this is about the anthropology optional and its marks and the limitations associated with this one. Yes. See, next in anthropology, how do you write an answer? So generally, in any subject, not only anthropology but even other optionals and GS also, you have three components: introduction, body of the answer, and conclusion. Yes, sir. See, introduction, you definitely understand that you are at a very higher level now, preparing for UPSC, and you should hook or crook avoid informal writing, or maybe a substandard way of presenting an answer. What is a substandard way of presenting an answer? Rewriting what has been asked in the question. What are the factors affecting structure and nature of Indian population? Introduction. The following are the factors affecting nature and structure of Indian population. You have repeated what has been given in the question. So this is what is a substandard answer. So in introduction, you have to avoid rephrasing. Please write. Please write. In introduction, you have to avoid rephrasing. Of the question. Rephrasing of the question. This has to be avoided. Apart from that, you can write any other thing. And always, whenever you start, you cannot start with a sarcastic tone. Sarcasm means, or you cannot be hypercritical, nor the opening lines should not reflect that you are a pessimist. Some people are very critical. You ask something, no, they'll have 10 negative things, hardly any positive, one positive. This is hypercritical. Not at all required. Not at all required. Whatever may be the situation, you have to see the other side. One side will be bright, other side will be dark. For anything, whether it is human being, whether it is culture, whether it is society, or whether it is behavior, isn't it? Any ideal thing will be there, except ideal gases. Yes or no? So there are two aspects for everything, including human being and the aspects associated with human beings and groups of human beings or groups of individuals. So you have to make sure that you balance and you see both sides of it. So in introduction, you cannot portray yourself as a pessimist, or you cannot present a negative line or sarcasm, or you cannot be hypercritical about a particular thing. And by hook or crook, you have to avoid rephrasing of what has been asked in the. Is it clear? And as I said, through the rigorous writing practice that we have along with our classes, I advise you to start experiment. Anyway, the class that I take will be well structured. You definitely have introductory lines and conclusory notes. Not limiting yourself to what I have said, you can write your understanding, and that is why, and that is how a true potential in you will be unleashed. Unless until you try to write a conclusion or an introduction, you will try to imitate someone, maybe the class notes, or maybe a topper's notes, or maybe a guide or something else. That will kill your individuality, that will kill your creativity, that will kill your originality. Isn't it? You all are unique individuals. Yes or no? Yes. Then why at this particular stage you try to imitate others? Because it has almost become a common practice imitating others. And I strongly suggest don't imitate my way of this thing also, because it is giving you an opportunity to understand what has been taught and further notes on clarifying the concept, isn't it? But if you restrict yourself to what, you will repeat the same thing. Rather, I strongly urge that you write as per your understanding, what you have understood. If you write what you have understood, that will bring the originality in you. You get my point? So, with respect to introduction, what you are writing? You are avoiding rephrasing, you are avoiding sarcasm, you are avoiding hypercriticality, you are avoiding pessimism. So, what all you can write in introduction? You can summarize the keywords which are asked in the question. As we go into the topics, I will explain for each and every topic what is my way of thinking behind writing a particular introduction. So, down the line, after a week or 10 days, I hope that you can write an introduction worthy reading. Yes. So, I said what not to do in body. See, different aspects that you have to write in the body is with respect to the keywords or the definitions or codes or any particular view of the anthropologist or a research scholar. You also provide sufficient examples. An elaborated example will become a case study. If you elaborate a particular example, that becomes a case study. And because the nature of the exam demands a holistic knowledge, or how the person is able to interlink things. Interlinking also is very important role. So, you interlink paper 1 and paper 2 in order to make it look impressive. The creativity, what is that? What are different forms of creativity? Flow chart, diagrams, or any other pictorial way of representation. Yes. And then subject specific terminology. This is nothing but the anthropological perspective. Maybe in GS paper 2, polity and international relations, you can't write an answer without quoting constitution, without quoting preamble, isn't it? Or fundamental rights or fundamental duties or center state relations, isn't it? That is subject specific terminology. And using such a terminology will draw the attention of the evaluator. And that is how we make it an anthropological answer. So definitely anthropological perspective should be there, which comes from the terms that you use, the scholars that you use. Yes or no? So these are the components of the. Then you conclude. Conclude can be again a saying, a view. Here you can mention data also. Data, facts and figures. Sometimes to have a strong stand or to say that you have learnt about the topic well, you have to provide facts and figures from the surveys of international agencies or national agencies or any other voluntary agency. So data also is important. Yes. So in conclusion, you can write the saying or view or any quote or opinion of an anthropologist or any other scholar. And again, whatever you have avoided in introduction, those also you have to avoid here. What is this? Rephrasing, sarcasm, hypercriticality, pessimism, all these to be. So here, for some things, futuristic or future perspective. Some people say relevance or applications or way forward, depending on the context of what has been asked. For everything, hard and fast rule, way forward. Say for example, a 10 marker on DNA replication. Way forward makes no sense. Yes or no? So you have to use these in different manner. Sometimes significance. So when you start your daily answer writing or weekend test, only accept this, because obviously unless until you complete both paper 1 and paper 2, how can you interlink this, isn't it? So in your daily answer writing and weekend test, accept this, all other things you can practice. This you can do after your classes are over in 100 days mentorship. Yes. Any questions here? You can. Why do you want to duplicate? Because I would definitely suggest not to repeat the sentences. So one very good point you have raised, please write in like asterisk, avoid repetitions, because scope for repetition is very less. By doing so, what will happen? You will fall short of words, you will fall short of space. Instead of that one, why can't you present some other aspect of that particular topic? Sensible? Yeah. Depends, 25 to 50 or 25 to 40 or 50. So obviously you can split up, no? So 10 marker, I'm asking 25 words introduction, then 25 conclusion. How much is left? 100. So you have to avoid writing lengthy introductions and lengthy conclusions. Write here, avoid lengthy introductions and lengthy conclusions. Scope is less, no? Yes or no? You write 100 words introduction, game over. Yes or no? So make also be precise, stick to the topic. That means you have to focus only on demand of the question. You have to focus only on the demand of the question. That means you should not digress, isn't it? Because scope is less. So you have to be precise, stick to the topic. That means otherwise focus only on demand of the question. The more you digress, lesser the marks. So understand what has been asked in the question, try to think and then write. So understand what the question demands. That how do you get to know? You get to know through deeper understanding of the topic, conceptual clarity. Yes or no? So that because anyway you will be practicing hundreds of questions, hardly there will be any question which is asked outside what has been asked here. Because you can technique, as per our curriculum also you can see daily answer writing. Okay, 90 days, say for example 90 days, 90 questions you are answering. Weekend test, 5 plus 4, 9. 9 times maybe some, how many weeks? 16 or 20 weeks. 20 into 9, 180. After that, 100 days mentorship program is there in which you have daily answer writing and 40 tests. So hardly any question comes out of it. So you do it religiously, you are competent. Yes or no? Will there be any other question which will not be discussed or which will not be attempted by you before going to the exam? Absolutely no. All are covered, including previous year questions. Yes or no? So I always say that stick to what was laid in front of you. Curriculum, put in your hard work and you will definitely rock. Otherwise, shock. Yes, sir. So this is about introduction, body and conclusion. Similarly, you can scale it up. You asked this question, no? You can scale it up. 15 marks, you can scale. Yes. Any more questions on what has been said so far? You can ask. Online students seem to be a little bit shy. They are not participating. I am erasing this one. So please take your syllabus copies. So if you see paper 1, please look into your syllabus copy. What is the first topic? Meaning, scope and development of anthropology. So basic introduction. And obviously, this will be our first topic when we take our classes. And a thorough discussion will be held on meaning, scope and development tomorrow. Today we'll see the syllabus and tomorrow we'll be starting from 1.1. And then subsequently, the relationship with other disciplines. Maybe you can write you can make an index of keywords. What is scope? Generally, you come across this word scope. What do you understand, or what is the meaning of scope? Did I ask wrong question or not? Extent of study. Please write. Scope means extent of study. These are simple words. You know them, but sometimes what happens? We don't know the equivalent word. When we don't know the equivalent word or synonym, we find it difficult to understand this word and what to write subsequently. So scope is extent of study. That means what you study in anthropology is the scope of anthropology. That clears a lot of it, isn't it? So you have different areas of study like socio-cultural anthropology, biological anthropology, archaeological and linguistic. So these happen to be the different branches of anthropology, and what we are reading as a part of these branches of anthropology eventually becomes the total scope of anthropology. So these branches have several sub branches also. So scope is nothing but our syllabus. Arranging them in a logical order will give you the best answer. Isn't it? Common sense. Then development of anthropology. Then 1.2, relationship with other disciplines. See, in anthropology, one very important feature or approach is comparative approach. Besides several other approaches, one very important approach is comparative approach. In comparative approach, we try to find similarities as well as differences. In comparative approach, what we are finding? Similarities and dissimilarities. Now, anthropology, when we speak about similarities, anthropology has a relationship with other disciplines like socio-cultural anthropology and sociology are close. When we are reading physical anthropology or biological anthropology, we find that part of anthropology close to life sciences in some aspects, close to medical sciences in some aspects, close to other forms of sciences. So through this comparative approach, what we are understanding? Similarities and differences. And you should also understand that anthropology has similarities with other discipline because of the infinite curiosity that this subject generates. The subject generates endless curiosity about human beings and their existence and their works, their behavior. So because of this infinite curiosity about human beings, we are having similarities with other disciplines. At the same time, anthropology emerged as an independent discipline because it is also dissimilar with other things. Otherwise, why should we read anthropology? We would have read sociology, or we would have read any other life science. And because of these aspects, we consider anthropology as a holistic subject, a holistic approach. Holism. The opposite of holism is atomism. Holism is complete picture, atomism is a reductionism, is focusing on a particular topic. Holism is in the forefront, atomism is now coming into picture, because earlier anthropological studies were too general. But because the subject has grown in its strength, atomism also becomes one of the important approaches of anthropology today. Because of growing interest in anthropology, and more anthropologists are produced. First highest in US, second highest in India. I think half of them are UPSC aspirants. You get my point? So what I mean to say is that through this comparative approach, we seek to find similarities, we also seek to find differences. Because of infinite curiosity this subject generates, we have relationship with other disciplines. And because of also another thing is the distinctive curiosity, we are different from other subjects. So this relationship we are going to see with respect to similarities and dissimilarities. Dissimilarities, so many dissimilarities with respect to methodology, with respect to methods, with respect to scope, with respect to approaches used in anthropology. So these are the things that we are going to study in 1.2. Then in 1.3, we are seeing different branches of anthropology. The classification which is given here are the four main branches. What are they? Physical or biological, socio-cultural, linguistic, and archaeological. This is a combination of actually two different schools of thought. British school of thought, that means according to Britain's group, group of scholars, or Britain school of thought, that they have only three branches of anthropology. One is physical anthropology, second one cultural anthropology, and the third one is archaeological anthropology. But according to American school of thought, and these four branches of anthropology was given by Franz Boas: physical anthropology or biological anthropology, social anthropology, linguistics anthropology or anthropology of linguistics, and archaeological anthropology. So on one hand cultural, on one hand social, and these are the two predominant schools of thought in anthropology, whether someone agrees or not. Britain is a classical one, maybe this is somewhat modern, this is mostly is ethnocentric, this is somewhat culturally relativistic. We will understand these terms as we go through the topic. So you have what? Two types of classifications. One is the Britain school of thought, in which you have physical, cultural, archaeological anthropology, physical, social, linguistics. Yes, sir. Now here this is a combination of both these, and nowadays society and culture, because of their interdependency, they have clubbed cultural and social and made it a socio-cultural anthropology. Understood? So we study about different branches of anthropology, and then we study their sub-branches and the applications of these branches. So this is our introduction class tomorrow, 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, and what we are going to read in them. Then followed by this one, 1.3, you have 1.4, which talks about biological and cultural factors in human evolution, because what you are seeing, the present modern day human being has underwent several changes with respect to anatomy, physical features, and also cultural features. That is why E.O. Wilson and Charles Lumsden says that the emergence of modern man is because of gene-culture coevolution. Gene and culture evolved together. According to Sherwood L. Washburn, he says that there was an intriguing interplay between biological and culture factors which led to emergence of modern man. That means emergence of modern man is because of combined action of physical as well as culture. A very interesting topic. You getting me? We are always evolving, isn't it? Culture is evolving, human beings are also evolving. All living organisms are evolving. Yes or no? Can you name any living organism which stopped evolving? We can hardly say. Some of them, we call them living fossils.
Amoeba and all, which were like stagnant. Alligator.
Evolution is a very important characteristic feature of all living organisms. Every living organism want to survive. So for their survival, they have to adapt to the environment. And if they don't adapt to the environment, what will happen? They become extinct. Say for example, dinosaurs, Jurassic Park. What they were not able to adapt, so they became extinct. That means what I want to say is that all living organisms, if they don't adapt, they are extinct. If they are adapt, they make certain modifications in their gene. So subsequently there will be modification in their physical traits and they survive. Even the most harmful pathogens for human beings, what are harmful? Virus, you know, we just came out of it. No? Bacteria, useful are there, harmful also. We are speaking about harmful ones, which are causing disease, which are otherwise known as pathogens. What are they? Virus are infecting us, bacteria are infecting us, protozoans are infecting us, helminths like platyhelminthes, nemathelminthes are affecting us, fungi are affecting us. These are all causing disease, no? So we want to eliminate them. So what we are using? We are using medicines, antiviral or antibiotic, antifungal, antiprotozoan or anti-helminth. We are taking them to kill them. They also want to survive. How they are surviving? Becoming resistant to the medicines that we are taking. And that is why you can learn about this antimicrobial resistance. Microorganisms is a generic word, particularly bacteria resistant to antibiotics, antibacterial resistance, antiviral resistance. A common name is antimicrobicidal or resistance. They are also trying to survive. Yes or no? In such case, there are certain 12 different microorganisms which are labeled as superbugs by WHO. Anyway, this is not related to anthropology. Don't think it's all about microbiology and then. Very good. But what I want to say is every living organism evolve. So this is organic evolution. Organic compounds are what? Which are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Yes or no? So on one hand, every living organism, including human beings, are evolving. Yes or no? Initially, human beings were, our ancestors were having small head, now big head. If you think even more, maybe after millions of years, even more big, limbs small, alien. Yes or no? That is what is evolution. So on one hand, organic evolution, not only with respect to human beings, but in all living organisms, it is common. And there are certain theories which explain this evolution process. Those are studied subsequently, starting from the old one, Lamarckism, to the new one, synthetic theory of evolution, along with associated concepts and ideas. You getting my point? Not only organic evolution, but culture also is evolving. This idea that culture is evolving and it's not static is what is known as super organic view of culture. Because in this super organic view of culture, culture is treated as an entity. Yes or no? Culture is changing or not? So that is super organic view of culture. We will discuss more about it in subsequent classes. So in 1.4, we are studying about various aspects of organic evolution. Next chapter 1.5, we are studying primatology, characteristics of primate, classification of primates, differences and similarities with respect to human beings, and subsequent changes associated with it. So here the key word is primates. Primatology is the study of primates. So what are primates? And human beings are definitely part of primates. Hope you know. So what are primates? Primates is equal to, please write, prosimians, monkeys, apes, and human beings. Prosimians are those before monkeys. These are formed before monkeys. Prosimians. Simian means monkey. Pithecus means ape. Homo means human. So prosimians are like lemur, loris, such kind of three shoes. So primates refer to, so these are our cousins. So don't behave like them. Yes or no? Our relatives are. So these are the things which we are going to study in 1.5. Then 1.6, different pre-human ancestors, our ancestors, how human beings have evolved. Human beings are also technically known as Homo sapien. So before the evolution of Homo sapien, we have different forms. You can remember this code, Dr. A. We don't know who is A. And we don't want to find who is A also. It's just a name. So Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, Homo sapiens. There are many other fossils in between, but in syllabus they have given only this. But more or less, this is the sequence. So we are going to study about these ones and their geographical distribution, where were they found, where their fossils were discovered, their phylogenetic status, where they stand in the evolutionary tree, and their characteristics. So in this topic we study about these fossils, their phylogenetic distribution, their phylogenetic relationship, geographical distribution, and the characteristics. People actually get scared because of only this part, and this is very objective in nature. That means you know or you don't know. So if you have information, you know, and only by writing that 10 points you will get 10 marks. Objective. But subjective, you can write anything. Culture, you can write anything. Salient features of Australopithecus, you can write only few points here. So this physical anthropology is mostly objective in nature. Either you know or you don't know, and you know, and if you produce the same answer or more or less, you get full marks. But socio-cultural and other parts of anthropology are quite subjective in nature. That means you have the freedom to write whatever you want. You can express yourself. In Australopithecus, what you will express yourself? Or Homo sapien, what you will express about? Characteristics are common, features are common, isn't it? So this is objective, and all other aspects are subjective. It depends on how you express, what is the depth of your saying. So this is a scoring area, and as I said, many people or many students are only after, as if anthropology no syllabus is there, only these they are seeing and saying, no, I won't take anthropology. Really, I am saying. Sometimes compulsory section 10 marks they will ask, very easily you will handle them, and if you write 10 out of 10 you will get. In scaling down, the mark may come less, but when they award mark, they'll give you full marks only for these kind of things. So the weightage of this particular topic, compulsory section, sometimes you can prefer the old previous year question papers. Sometimes they ask in 10 marks. 10 marks very easy to handle. In exceptional case, 115 mark and 20 marks can also be asked, but you know that there is a choice here. So in best case scenario, the weightage of this section is 45, best case scenario. But previous trends, if you see, it lies close to 35 to 10. Never it was 45. So only in 10 you are forced to write this one. Otherwise you have a choice. But learning them properly, answering them will fetch you good marks. And as I have given my logic for that one. What is that logic? Australopithecus features you can't change. But what you want to tell about society and culture, you can say so many things. You can write an essay. That is why earlier, last year, they have asked a essay with respect to our anthropology topic only. Culture is what we are and civilization is what we have. Something similar to that they have asked. No, that was a direct sentence given by McKeever to define culture and civilization, which was asked in essay. So you can write anything there. Yes or no? So that is why I say this physical anthropology is mostly objective in nature and other parts are subjective in nature, where you have a freedom to express yourself. Yes or no? So that is more or less about 1.6. 1.7 is biological basis of life, which is basic biology, cell, DNA, protein, DNA replication, what is gene, chromosome, cell division, basic biology. So far no question was asked from this 1.7, but it doesn't mean that they should not ask. And as I said, it's basic biology. 10th class knowledge will be sufficient here. Anyway, I'll give you more information only, but again 10th class, if you want to, you can read 10th class or 11th class NCERT related to biology and you can find all this. More will be discussed in the class. And as I said, so far no question has been asked. A favorite area is every time one question, 10 or 15 marker or 20 marker they will ask here. 1.1, 1.4, some topics are asked. 1.5, very rarely one or only favorite area is skeletal changes due to erect posture and implications. Almost every time inevitably they ask. So likewise, but so far from 1.7 there was no question. Even if they ask, you will definitely write it very easily, because we are discussing and they will be well explained, on which you will be writing couple of tests also in your class curriculum only, not after that, during class curriculum. So you will be well equipped with 1.7. And then 1.8 we have chronology, in which we have dating methods. So what is chronology? Chrono means time, no? Logos means study of time, time machine. Sequential arrangement of events from past to present and studying them. It can be physical, it can be socio-cultural, or it can be climate, it can be geological changes, or it can be anything. So chronology is simply the study of various aspects, arranging them from past to present. Past to present. Yes, sir. Dating methods. Dating methods are specialized techniques used to calculate the approximate age or relative age of fossils. So in archaeology, 4 things are very important. Fossils. What are fossils? Dead remains of what? living organism. That can be plant or that can be animal. In this case, it can be any of the primates because this is a subject area of study. Yes or no? So fossils play an important role. Then we have something known as features. Features are those in situ formations like caves, cave dwelling. Ancient man were living in caves. Cave man, cave art. You heard about them, no? Cave art, like Bhimbetika, art in the caves, isn't it? So those are caves are feature. Hearth, hearth means similar to kitchen where food is cooked. Hearth. All these come under features. These we cannot move from one place to another place. Fossil you can move. Yes sir. But features we can't. How can you move a cave from one place to another place? How can you move a hearth which is inside a cave to your laboratory? You can't do it. So features are those things. Artifacts. Artifacts. Artifacts are nothing but tools. Artifacts are nothing but tools. Sorry? I'm sorry?
Like X and all.
XC2, yeah. Tools we can definitely move from one place to another place. Eco facts. These are ecological facts. Say for example, along with dead men, that means buried, they were offering flowers. Even modern burials also, generally with the person who is dead, they offer flowers, no? Whether the person is burnt or whether the person is buried, offering flowers is a customary practice, not only in modern societies, but it was a similar situation in ancient man also. It reflects the dignity of dignity towards other individual. So presence of pollen grains also gives us an indication of the age of these archaeological findings. So in archaeology, we study, please listen this one. In archaeology, we study fossils, which are dead remains, particularly primates, very particularly human beings. Features are the places in which human beings were residing, like caves, inside the caves where they were also cooking, caves and hearths. What are artifacts? Artifacts are tools. Yes, sir. Eco facts are ecological facts like pollen grains. And one very special feature about pollen grains are they are indestructible. Only fire can destroy them. And pollen grains are part of male reproductive system in flower. Yes or no? Pollination you would have heard, no? Pollen grain from male flower to ovary of female flower through style stigma and fertilize the ovary, ovary become fruit. Inside the ovary there is ovule, ovule becomes seed. This is the situation in only those plants which can bear fruits. Yes or no? So pollen grains also serve as an indicator to analyze the archaeological findings. So in this one we are studying dating methods. You used to estimate the age of these archaeological findings. This particular fossil is 1 lakh year old. This particular fossil is 10,000 years old. This particular fossil is 200 years old. How they are getting to know? Through this dating method. So dating methods help us to estimate their age. And these are the 4 archaeological evidences that archaeologists find. What is archaeologist doing? Excavating, no? For finding through various sources. So that is what we are going to study in 1.8. A. 1.7 is cultural evolution. As I said, culture also is evolving. Earlier it was Paleolithic. Paleo means old. Lithic means lithic means stone. So Paleolithic age is old stone age. Mesolithic. Meso means middle. Lithic means stone. Middle Stone Age. Neo, modern or new. New Stone Age. Neolithic. Neo means new. Lithic means stone. Means new Stone Age. Then Chalcolithic. Chalco means copper. Lithic means stone. Copper Stone Age. Bronze Age dominated by bronze tools. Iron Age dominated by iron tools. And what are the features? Where these sites are present? What people were doing in this time? How was their society? What were their cultural practices? These kind of things we are going to study. In this, general features we are going to study. Yes or no? Some parts, particularly the first three, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, forms a part of prehistory. Yeah. Yes. So that those are the things which we are going to study in 1.8. So this is more or less from 1.1 to 1.8. But classes tomorrow we will start 1.1 and we will discuss 1.2 and 1.3. Then these we will discuss later. So tomorrow's class will be first these three topics, and then we will come to the socio-cultural point 2.1 to 8, which also includes 7th chapter, which is a small part of linguistic anthropology, but not so much in detail. But 7th one is a part of linguistic anthropology. So on Wednesday we will be starting from 2.1, same order. Same order we will complete till 8th chapter. And then we will start 1.4 and complete all these things, 1.8. And then we will start 9.1 genetics, 9.1, and we will complete in the same order till 12. You understand this one, no? So tomorrow's class will be 1.1 to 1.3. Wednesday we will be starting 2.1 and working all our way through 8, which is socio-cultural. Then after socio-cultural we will start 1.4 to 1.8, then 9.1 to 12. This is the order of the classes. You able to? Yes? Yes? This is the order which we are going to. Then after this we will start paper 2, same order 1.1 to 9.3, same order will follow. Same order will. Only one place we have change the order here on. Otherwise, will be taught in the same order according to syllabus. I don't want to mess up with it. I am giving you orientation about anthropology and what it means and the field of anthropology. Then we are shifting to socioculture. Then we are shifting to physical. Then we come to archaeology and then Indian anthropology and tribal anthropology and associated applied aspects. So these are the things. Is clear how we are taking it forward? Yes. Now 2.1. Come to 2.1. We will understand these topics also briefly. You want to go or what? You seem to be in rush. No? You are happy? Yes. Happy means Nanda is saying no, not at all. And I am actually sweating. Okay. Reduce means like temperature low down. That is increasing, no? You want less, no? Lower down means less. You want temperature more. No, it's okay. Student comfort is in your choice. Anyway, you can adjust them. But I'm sweating actually. I don't know. But I thought these were not working. And what about you, Sai? And it's on. What about you? Last one is on. Because summer, what happens, no? Because of sweating, you get irritation. And if you get irritated, you will take it on me. So I have to make sure that you are cool. Yes or no? Sweating actually creates irritation. That is why you see people in equatorial region, they are very, what, maybe I'll use a wrong word, but they get short tempered quickly. It's only because of sweating. People coming from cool climatic conditions tend to be cool. Yes or no? So that is the reason in these summers, I wanted to keep you cool. So in 2.1, it is discussing about culture, civilization, and some aspects like ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. And cultural relativism forms the backbone of this particular branch of anthropology, which develops tolerance towards other cultures. It is adopting a neutral approach, not discriminating any culture or society based on their cultural practices. Isn't it? Generally, there is a tendency among people to see, like maybe generally YouTube videos, you will see, no, whenever a person is eating something different than what you are eating, everyone is seeing millions of views. Yes or no? And then finally, some people will be very discriminatory in these people are eating this, these people are eating this. What will happen? Yes or no? This is a general thing. Maybe some people are eating with hand, some people with fork and knife, or maybe some people are eating with spoon. Eating with hand, where the person is mixing. Yes or no? And this is against the spirit of cultural relativism. We cannot have a discriminatory eye or a myopic eye towards other cultures, because they are happy in the way they are living, they respect their cultures, and they are proud of it. So no one has right to point out their culture, isn't it? Because they have been surviving with the similar cultural practice from times immemorial, with slight cultural changes, isn't it? So this cultural relativism actually is one of the important approaches of anthropology, particularly sociocultural, which develops tolerance, also promotes respect towards other cultures, considering all cultures are, and all cultural practices should be seen from insider's point of view. So when you if you are a part of that particular culture, obviously you will find all the cultural practices and aspects associated with them to be justified. Isn't they are natural? Yes or no? But once we compare our culture with other culture, then is the problem. Then only clashes, then only fights, isn't it? Then only discrimination. These are not good, no? So that is what we read in 2.1 about culture, civilization, ethnocentrism, and cultural relativism. These are the four main topics in 2.1. In 2.2, we study about society and social groupings, in which we study about associations, social groups, and social stratification. Stratification means dividing the society based on a certain parameter. You can divide the society as literates and illiterates also. You can divide the society into male, female, or transgender. You can divide the society based on caste also. You can divide the society based on religion, class. Isn't so many parameters are there? And then we see the relationship between society and culture in 2.2. So these are basically introduction to different terminology that we usually come across in socio-cultural anthropology. A brief introduction. 2.1, 2.2. So 2.1 culture, 2.2 society. 2.3 is about marriage and different aspects associated with marriage, like types of marriage, marriage payments, and various other aspects. Isn't it? These are very interesting topics actually. That is why I am starting from here, so that it develops a natural interest towards the subject. Because these are the things which you can relate, isn't it? in the day-to-day basis. Whatever you are studying here, you are able to relate. Whatever you are studying here, whenever you come across something in YouTube, okay, you know this is quite common, isn't it? Or maybe whenever you go and visit a place, you come to know, okay, these practices are common, we know about it. So other people are seeing with a shock, you are saying no. So that is about marriage. So marriage and associated topics in 2.3, isn't it? In 2.4, marriage is why people are getting married. After marriage, they form a family and the aspects associated with it. No marriage, no family. Your own family, I am saying. You are a part of a family. Definitely, you have your father, mother, and siblings, no, and obviously your grandparents from both sides. So this is a family. But how do you establish your own nuclear family? Is only through marriage. That is why I said no marriage, no family. And don't get very impressed with this word. Marriage seems to be inevitable because it is an integral part of every society. Every society wants their individuals to get married so that they form a family, they produce children, and the society will continue. First, they say that their family lineage should continue, but the inherent basis is the society should continue. Forget about human beings. All animals reproduce. So that means they don't have marriage, but they reproduce and they continue their species. And reproduction becomes a defining characteristic of life. Every living organism reproduces to continue their species. And human beings have a certain code of conduct, rules, laws, some religious things to continue the same. So we can use the word reproduction, a more sophisticated word, we can use procreation, case of humans. So marriage obviously gives rise to family. So we study various aspects associated with family. And through this, we also have so many relatives, no? So that is why they say generally, mostly you would have come across this dialogue in movies. Marriage is not just a one man and women affair. Two families are involved. Their relatives are involved. So many stakeholders. So two people are getting married, but there are so many stakeholders. Who are those stakeholders? Who are those? Parents from both sides and families from both sides. You getting my point? So this marriage family gives rise to so many relatives. Kins are your relatives from both the father side, mother side, your spouse side. And once you consider a group of people as relatives, it is expected that you live in harmony. Yes or no? Your relative means generally even if you fight the next day you say, okay, no problem, please come. Yes or no? So all these are trying to put the society in order. But for these things, society will be very chaotic. There will be no discipline. People will be waging wars in order to fulfill their biological needs, just like animals. You get my point? So in order to control all these, what you call basic instincts, human beings, through their cultural practices, regulated almost everything. Almost every need is regulated by means of culture and cultural practice. So what these are doing? These are putting the society in. So marriage, family, kinship, they come in sequence. They are related to each other. And then you have economic organization. And if you see, the whole human civilization or human evolution is based on your economic practice. What are different economic practices? Earlier, what human beings were doing? What they are doing? What is economy? Now, don't answer. What is economy generally? It is a what is a subject in UPSC. Economy is extraction and utilization of natural resources in a sustainable manner. I think you did not come across this definition anywhere. But this is what is economy. What is economy? Extraction and utilization of natural resources in a proper manner or sustainable manner. And what are all those activities associated with these? That means extraction and utilization are referred to as economic activities. Now tell me, what could have been the earliest economic activity of our ancestors? Hunting only, no? Hunting, gathering food, scavenging. Maybe scavenging, gathering food, and then, yes or no? Did they stop there? No. They domesticated plants and animals, and they started agriculture and pastoralism. Then a pre-industrialized society is formed. Then industrialization took place. Industrial revolution took place. Then after industrial, post-industrialized societies came into picture. Now the era of digitalization, artificial intelligence, what not, so many things. All these are what? Economic activities. So we are going to study economic activities and the associated concepts, right from past to present. Even future thing, like present thing, like globalization, its impact on indigenous economic systems. Quite rational. One thing leads to another thing. And all these things are interrelated with each other. And that is why you are able to relate these topics in your day-to-day life, and you will hardly forget them. The only challenge that you face is with respect to examples and the scholars' definitions. With a little bit effort, you can remember them also. So we see about economic organization. Then political aspects. How political systems developed from band to the modern state. Modern states are mostly democratic in nature, isn't it? Band was also democratic. That means small groupings were also democratic. Then became autocratic. Then became again democratic. In democracy, you have two types of democratic systems. Like basically, they have either presidential form of government or parliamentary form. But they are all claiming that they are democracies. Isn't most of the nation states? Yes or no? So we study aspects related to that. We study about primitive law, modern law. What is power, authority, legitimacy? And what is legitimacy? Is a socially accepted thing. Socially approved thing is what is legitimacy. Power and authority. Legitimacy differentiates power and authority. Isn't it? Legitimate power is known as authority. Authority has a very strong social backing and is deriving its thing from law. Isn't it? So such kind of aspects we are going to see. Then fifth one is about religion. Types of religion. The difference between magic, religion, science. Magico-religious functionaries. That means functionaries who are performing magic and who are officiating religious ceremonies. These people come under magico-religious functionaries. Yes or no? So these are the things which we are going to study in religion. Then anthropological thought. We have different schools of thought. They have their own views and opinions on how culture evolved, how society evolved, what is the behavior behind behavior or thought process behind a particular behavior. These kind of things we are going to see in anthropological thought. Then as I said, seventh chapter is about language and communication, which is a very small part of linguistic anthropology, very small part. But we will also see some topics surrounding to them, like because earlier they have asked Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. We get to answer those kind of questions by studying some more topics associated with a particular thing. Otherwise, we will be unprepared for such kind of questions which have been asked earlier. Then eighth one is the research methods. Every discipline have its own research methods. They have different methods, techniques, different forms of data collection, and so on and so forth. It's a general topic that we will see. Then from 9.1 to 9.8 is completely genetics and related topics. 10, 11, 12 are related to growth and development, and 11 and 12 are some applied aspects related to human beings. Now 9.1 to 12 related to genetics and other aspects, other biological aspects of human beings. And also we have some applied aspects like application of anthropology in various disciplines, because in wherever you see, whether it is with respect to policy making or policy implementation, or whether it is with respect to designing of equipments or clothes or even shoes, whatever, an anthropologist role is very important, whether it is in tribal development or rural development. So anthropologist is great, isn't it? Because of the knowledge that an anthropologist acquires and an anthropologist's interest in various aspects of human beings. So an anthropologist is interested in all aspects of human existence, isn't it? An anthropologist is interested in all aspects of human existence. That best summarizes what anthropologist is. Yes, sir. And then paper 2 again, if you see, first parts are archaeology with respect to India. Paper 2 is particularly focusing on Indian aspects, where paper 1 is purely generalistic and a world view or general topics. Paper 2 is primarily focused on India. So archaeological aspects related to India, isn't it? The fossils like Narmada Man, Sivapithecus, etc. We also study about Indus Valley civilization and different sites related to various stages in cultural evolution, like Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, so on. Then second one is demographic profile. It's just a very general related to human geography. And then in this one, particularly ethnic and linguistic elements, there were different classifications given by different scholars, dividing people of India based on language, based on racial features. Because definitely India is a very vast area. People come from different places, from different environmental conditions with different cultural practices. And you can definitely see people coming from particular place, a particular state or region have some unique set of traits. So that was the basis for classifying people of India, which was called as racial classification. Different classifications were given by Risley, Guha, Eichstätt, and so on and so forth. So that is about chapter 2. 3.1 to 3.1 is totally Indian anthropology, our traditional social structure, the roots of our social structure, which was mostly based on this Varnashram, Purushartha, karma philosophy, Rina, etc. Rina, rebirth. These are the things, no? Whatever we say, whatever we do, we always see that we will be the victims of our own karma. If that karma is good, good outcome. If karma is bad, misery, troubles. Isn't it? In UPSC aspiration also you will associate this with karma. Immediate early result, good karma. Karma is simply act, your action. You act, you get successful. You are thinking to act, it will be delayed. You deny to act, success dependent. Isn't it? So karma is nothing but act. And these form the basis of our thought process. Isn't it? We do not do wrong because we are regulated by the social system, our philosophy. Those form the underlying basis of our thought process, isn't it? All the Indians now, irrespective of region or religion or caste, these are some principles which are guiding our thought process, isn't it? So this is Indian philosophical system and the aspects associated. And then we also see about other topics like impact of religion, some social concepts associated with caste, and then in 4 we see about how anthropology grew as a subject in India and the contribution of various anthropologists who worked in India. It need not be only Indian anthropologists, it can be anthropologists who worked in India and who contributed much to the growth of anthropology in India. So that is the 4th chapter. Then we study about villages, different types of villages, and also aspects associated with Indian village. Then we study about different minorities, linguistic and religious minorities, and then we study about some other social concepts given by various scholars like M.N. Srinivas and others. And then from 6.1 to 9.3, this is particularly tribal anthropology and various problems, their constitutional safeguards and other topics. And towards the end, we study the role of anthropology in understanding various social problems. So this is more or less, this is quite generalistic in nature, and most probably even now also you have some knowledge or some information related to most of the topics in the paper, most of the topics, isn't it? But we will strengthen our knowledge on these particular topics through detailed discussion and case studies wherever required. Yes. So this is something about our syllabus, and I already informed you how we will be taking our classes from tomorrow. Yes. So any questions on today's class, you are most welcome to ask. Now people are saying, what did you teach? What should I ask? Yeah. That is what I said, no? What's your name? Aman. We started introduction. This gives an overview of what is anthropology all about. And you also come to know the scope and applications of anthropology. I could easily start from 1.4, but these are the areas which you cannot relate, because this is physical thing. You cannot relate to, because only monkey we would have seen, no other gorillas, chimpanzees, those. So this becomes quite different, and it seems to be more biological. But this socio-cultural anthropology, all aspects, you can relate it, you can visualize it. So what happens? You automatically start growing interest on the subject, and that is the time when we switch on to this particular area. So once you have a smooth start, a comfortable start, these things you can learn with ease, because the only aspect is these things you are able to relate to what you are seeing, and you will definitely appreciate every topic. You will appreciate equally well these also, but instead of starting from chimpanzee and gorilla, it is better to start from human beings. Yes, sir. So that is why I started. This is not the approach only for your batch, but this was my approach for many years now, and we always had a good thing. So only here we have changed, Raman. Otherwise, it is more or less the same. Any other questions? Online students. Online students. No, online students are not responsive. Okay, then that's all for today. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. And class timings, I hope you know, 5:30 to 7:30. Today, out of proactiveness, some people came and sat at 4:30 only. I have no problem to come and sit here, but yeah. But generally, it is from 5:30 to 7:30. Yes, thank you very much.